and then heads up, okay? Okay, we have success. Again, like I said, put the wedge in, pound that bastard in there good. Get these spread apart, a hell of a lot farther than they are. WD-40 the shit out of this thing, and then for me it was hitting the hammer down here, pulling up, twisting. That has taken me more time. As you can see, all the fucking corrosion in here. That was quite a job. But, obviously nothing you can't handle. I think if I had a bigger hammer, this is all I'm working with, we'd have done it much quicker. Alright, so next we're going to do, let me show you over here, get our spring compressors. And I thought, again, I'm not trying to outdo that other video that's on YouTube, because this guy did an excellent job of explaining how to compress those springs. So here's the ones, this Advanced Auto. I got these things are brand freaking new. Something important to me, these retainer clips here. I like it to hold on to the spring, should something go awry. But we're going to get this thing mounted up and get these springs compressed. Okay, we've got the spring compressors mounted. You want them exactly 180 degrees from one another. Make sure you pop in these little safety clips. I'm still going to tap this one in. I'm kind of weird, rather safe than sorry, right? So, as described, we're going to take 5 to 10 turns on this side, go 5 to 10 here, 5 to 10 here, 5 to 10 here, and we're going to keep doing that until I can take this assembly and twist it, and basically have it move without the spring holding it in place and keeping it from moving. So, and when I get to that point, I'm going to go down another couple of turns just to be sure that we can get this out. Because then what we're going to do is we're going to free up all the force up here with that bolt, and that's where it could get a little hairy. So what I'm going to do is not bore you with watching me crank this thing down, and once we've got it compressed, we'll get... Okay, as you can see, we've compressed the hell out of that spring now compared to what it used to be. I had misspoke. I said I'm going to compress the spring until this rotates. That was not correct. What I need to do now is actually loosen up this bolt here up top, and as I loosen this up, we're going to make sure that there's no pressure remaining in that spring pressing against here. So I'm going to loosen this up all the way to the top, leave a few threads on there, and then make sure that it's loose enough to rotate. And again, I got to say that I thought that other video did an absolutely outstanding job at explaining this, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. Yeah. Alright, so we're back. So I'm not going to lie to you. About an hour has passed. What happened in that hour? What I did was, up here, if you refer to the old video, and remember you need to put the Allen in here to loosen up this bolt. Well, this is almost an 11-year-old shock, or the old one was, and what happened is I stripped the hell out of this. Stripped the shit out of it. I could not get this off. So rather than dinking around with this thing, or whatever you want to say, because I don't have an impact here, which would have probably made this job a hell of a lot easier, in all honesty, I ran to a local shop, paid him 25 bucks, he got the old one off with an impact, took him about 2 seconds, boo, done, and I was kind enough to assemble this for me. So you live, you learn. Alright, as you can see, we've got the arm on. It's loose so that this can still spin. What we're going to do is get this up into place. So obviously we're going to push this back up here through the tower, secure the bolts so that it doesn't fall back out on me, and then begin reassembly. Again, if I had a camera person, this would be a hell of a lot easier to show you. She's out Christmas shopping, but up here it goes. Pardon the shake. There, basically like that, right? And then we're gonna get we're gonna mount everything back up. So give me a second here, and I'm gonna secure the bolts up top, and from there it's basically just reassembly. I don't know what else I really need to show you. We're going to put this bad boy back together, and we're going to be good. No alignment needed. We haven't touched any of those critical components, so that's about all she wrote. Again, I guess to stress, we want to keep this loose so that this can rotate in here before we tighten this up. This will be the last bolt we tighten up, short of putting the knuckle back on. Alright, so we've got the strut assembly in place. Bolts somewhat, not fully tightened up. What's surprising is these Bilstein, however you say it, came with these little 15 millimeter bolts. Compared with the stock, they were bigger 18s, much more impressive looking. I used what they came with, but I found that rather surprising. So down here, we're just going to take a hammer and pop this on. Okay, I'm going to keep pounding that on. One of the reasons that we left this loose, right, so everything can move around, get into position before we do a final tightening up there and down here. Okay. Yanni sees the hell out of everything. Just because if I ever come back, or when, I should say, we'll get that tightened. All right. So after a couple of good whacks and the 24 millimeter bolt on, this assembly, as you can see, is loose. So we're going to jack this up now. Until we get the shock to, or the strut, I'm sorry, to move up and basically bottom out up there. Once it's good and tight, we're going to go tighten the bolts up top and then finish off by tightening up this one here. All right, so we're about wrapped up here. We've got the two bolts up top tightened up. As you know, we already tightened up the bottom of the arm here. I just finished tightening up this bolt here. Remember to hold in back so you can get it tight enough. Now we're going to move this knuckle back. And sorry about the one-handed camera work. I'm going to push this down in place. Slide the pinch bolt through. This is pretty important spot here. Make sure that you've got this fully inserted. You don't want to drive down the road and have this bad boy come disconnected. So push down, bolt through, and let go. I hope you saw that without too much of an issue. So up here, the way to check is you want to make sure that that is flush. Do you see? So you want to make sure that that's in there. After we get that, what I'm going to do is put the brake line and the ABS sensors back. If you remember, that's this connector here, and then these two 10 millimeter bolts. We're going to bolt this back up, and tire goes on. Then we repeat the process on the passenger side. The only difference over there is that you are going to have to remove the air box in order to access the bolts on top. Aside from that,